In one of the most closely watched battleground districts, the latest polling shows former Democratic Congressman Mondaire Jones now trailing his Republican opponent Mike Lawler by 4 points. Both are running in the race to represent the lower Hudson Valley in District 17, where Democrats outnumber Republican voters by about 75,000.
Interesting. Earlier polls actually showed the two neck and neck, with Lawler holding a 1% edge. Mondaire Jones joins us now to talk about the very latest campaign. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's really exciting to be here with you.
All right. Well, you got 5 days out to the election, and we talked about that bump from Mike Lawler. I feel like you and your team are trying to figure out what you can do last minute to catch back up to him, if not beat him. What is that plan?
Well, the plan is to not pay attention to someone else's poll when we have our own data showing us neck and neck. And even the poll that was done by this third party is within the margin of error. What that poll shows us is that this is any man's race. And what I know about the lower Hudson Valley is that we do not want to send someone back to Congress who would be a reliable vote for Donald Trump's dangerous Project 2025 agenda in the event he were to return to the White House. And that is one of my key messages to people here in the lower Hudson Valley in the 17th Congressional District, that a vote for Mike Lawler is a vote for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mike Johnson to be in power. That means a national abortion ban. It means cuts to Social Security and Medicare. It means Mike Lawler gets to continue to block a bipartisan border security bill at the direction of Donald Trump, who asked him to do that because he wants to use the border crisis as a campaign issue rather than be solutions-oriented like I was when I was in Congress.
Now, District 17, I mean, like we said at the top of the show here, 75,000 Democrats to Republicans, home to the Clintons. Are you surprised with how tight this race has been?
Well, I think we're seeing locally what we're seeing nationally, which is a very competitive election at the presidential level and here in this House race. But look, I'll be honest, my opponent is an effective liar. And so he has convinced a lot of people that he is somehow a moderate despite voting just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. When I get back to Congress, I'm actually going to fight as the only pro-choice candidate in this campaign to restore women's reproductive freedom by passing a bill called the Women's Health Protection Act. And of course, to stop Republicans from passing a national abortion ban. I'm going to fight to protect Social Security and Medicare for generations to come so that all seniors can retire in dignity, unlike my opponent, who's come out in support of raising the age of retirement, which of course would be to cut to hard-earned benefits. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to vote to pass the bipartisan border security bill that's very tough, but that's languishing right now because of partisan politics on the part of Donald Trump and people who bend the knee to Donald Trump. You know, my opponent is supporting Donald Trump for the third consecutive presidential election cycle, and he has never stood up to him a day in his life. We have to get that message out in the lower Hudson Valley. It's going to make all the difference.
You mentioned a couple of key issues there, abortion, talking about the border, but one thing you left out was affordability, and I feel like that's really hitting people's wallets very hard right now. What are your plans to ease that pain on people in your district?
Well, this is actually my favorite subject to talk about. You know, I know what it's like to struggle in this broken economy. I grew up in Section 8 housing and on food stamps, and my mom, like so many incredible women throughout our district, still had to work multiple jobs to provide for our family. When I was in Congress, I helped pass a bill called the Inflation Reduction Act. It has already capped the price of insulin at $35 a month for seniors like my grandmother since January of 2023. And starting next year, no one on Medicare is going to have to pay more than $2,000 annually out of pocket for their prescription drugs, unless Mike Lawler and Donald Trump get their way and they repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, which would raise prescription drug costs for seniors. I also want to protect the Affordable Care Act. We've seen just in 24 hours raw footage of Mike Johnson, the most radical Speaker of the House, saying he wants to do away with the Affordable Care Act, which would throw millions of Americans off their health insurance plans and once again allow insurance companies in New York State to deny coverage to people with pre-existing conditions like cancer, asthma, and diabetes. So obviously I want to protect those two critical pieces of legislation, and I want to make sure that we fully restore the SALT deduction. When Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress capped the SALT deduction at $10,000 to punish blue states like New York, households in my district were crushed. Thousands and thousands of households had to pay thousands and thousands more dollars annually in taxes. We have to give them back that full SALT deduction, and that's one of the key issues in this campaign.
All right, Mondaire Jones, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.